Hey, fifth grade, this is Miss Gibson coming to you with your math review for today. So, of course, you guys should be on Thursday, April 30th, with this packet out, paper, pencil, and eraser, and of course, your notes to help you guide you and everything like that for all the past content that we've already been going through. So, go ahead and get those materials out. All right. So, of course, usually you guys are always going to go through all problems and then you're going to stop the video, do the problems, come back here so we can discuss them. So, go ahead and pause the video and get started. All right. So, welcome back from working. So, I'm going to go through, of course, every single problem, show you guys a problem solution, and then go through some steps. And, of course, reiterate to you guys to always reach out to your teachers no matter what so that you can get constant help. So the first page, you guys are supposed to round the quantity to the given place value. Draw number lines to explain your thinking. Circle the rounded value on the number line. Okay, so we have A. We have 13 and 989 thousandths, and you're supposed to round it to the nearest tenth. So the tenth place is right behind the decimal point. So it's the first place value behind to the right of the decimal point. So my two endpoints was 13.9. And since I can't go higher than 13.9, so it's not a 13.10, it's rounding up to the next number, which is 14.0. My midpoint is 13.95. I place my number on the number line. And since the hundredths place, which is the 8, is more than my 5 in the hundredths place here, because that's the midpoint between 13.9 and 14.0, I am rounding up to 14.0. Because again, nearest tenth. The next one, we were working on rounding to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so I have 382 and 993 thousandths, and it wants me to round to the nearest hundredth. So my endpoints, again, I have 382 and 99 hundredths. And then, of course, I can't go above 9, so it's not going to go to 382.00 because that's going lower. I'm going up to the next available number for my place value. So it's 383.00. I'm doing my midpoint as 382.995 thousandths. I'm placing my number on a number line. Since the 3 in the thousandths place, which is going to help me round to the nearest hundredth, is lower than the 5 in my midpoint, I am rounding down. If you still have problems with rounding on a number line and placing values on a number line, please reach out to your teachers, write down some notes, okay, and ask your questions. Next, we wanted to subtract vertically showing all work. So when we are adding and subtracting decimals, well, factors with decimals or numbers with decimals, what should we always make sure happens when we are doing that? Exactly. You should always make sure your decimal is lining up together. So, unlike multiplication and division, you don't care about the decimal point at that point. You're adding it back in. But this point, you have to make sure you're always lining up the decimal when you are subtracting or adding. Okay. So that's what I did for part A. I made sure to line up my numbers and I made sure to line up my decimal points. As you can see, I have this open space right here because technically I don't have a zero, I don't have a number in a thousandths place for my second number. So you can just look at that as a 0. And then I'm going to subtract down. And this is my work. So you can pause the video and check your work for part A. Okay, for part B, again, I am always lining up my decimal point. As you can see, I have 9 minus, so this is a whole number. If I put a decimal point with 2 zeros, that is still the same value as having 9. So that's what you guys should do to help you subtract all the way through. So go ahead and pause the video and check your work. All right, let's move right along. So for this one, you're supposed to fill in the circles with the correct inequality sign. So of course, inequalities. What are the examples of inequalities? Exactly, the greater than, the less than, or equal to. So if the fraction is in the FGTO, we write it as a mixed number and then do the same steps. So Of course, you have your four problems. I'm going to show you my work right here. So I have A, B, C, and D. So what I did was made sure that I had the same denominator. Why do I need the same denominator when I'm trying to put the correct inequality sign? Exactly, because I can't really tell which one is going to be bigger than or greater than or less than or equal to if I do not change my denominator. I need common denominators in order to tell me which fraction is going to be greater than or less than the other fraction. So my first step in all of them was to make sure that I change my denominator to common denominators, and then I put the greater or less than or equal to sign based off of what was given. So go ahead and pause the video and check your work. Okay, again, if you are having problems with inequality signs, make sure you're reaching out to your teachers and asking those clarifying questions because, again, this is all review. Okay. Last, let's go to the next one. The models below are shaded to represent equivalent fractions. So, just for this first one right here, how many pieces are shaded? Correct. 8 pieces are shaded. Out of how many? 12. So, I know right now that this fraction is 8/12. Okay. What about the second one? How many pieces are shaded? 4. So I know there are 4 pieces shaded out of how many? 6. Okay. So, with that being said, since there are these fractions shaded, we're looking for more equivalent fractions to model what's going on above. Okay, so if we're looking at these denominators right now, we know that they kind of have some numbers in common. Exactly. So we know that there's a 3 that is a common factor in these denominators. We know that there's a 2 and we know that there's a 6. So let's look at our answer choices to figure out which one would match. Exactly. The answer that would match would be A. Why is it A? Correct, because if I were to take out this middle line right here, this would be 1/3, this would be 2/3. So this would be showing 2/3. The same for the first one. If I took out these extra added lines and only had this split into thirds, it would show 2 out of the 3 that are shaded. Okay, let's move down to the final portion. So you're solving using the standard algorithm. So again, what are we noticing right now with the numbers that are given? Exactly, they're decimals. What should we always do when we're subtracting or adding decimals? Make sure that they are lined up correctly. So you're always lining up that decimal and then adding or subtracting accordingly. So go ahead and pause the video and check your work. All right. So again, if you're still having problems with adding or subtracting your decimals, please reach out to your teacher so we can get more practice with that because you always have to line up your decimals and then go from right to left and move accordingly to get to your answer. So, of course, you guys are going to get into that exit ticket next. Your word for today is bored. So, not bored as in like I'm bored, but board is what you're writing on, so like a whiteboard. So the spelling is BOARD. All right. So go ahead and get into your exit ticket. Make sure you're doing all the work on the side and doing all the problems out and following all directions properly. Okay. Have a good day. Bye.